Greetings, God bless. So it's August 2023, and I wanted to talk about this willful ignorance and cognitive dissonance that I'm noticing in friends. And I am talking about people from all sides of the aisle, and folks are just, they're still talking about CV as if it's real, even though they know that the PCR tests were uh, um, inaccurate, and they, you know, it's very strange. And so even now, some people are like talking about having had CV or still dealing with long CV, even though, at least for me, I've been sending them information, and I was sending them information in 2020 about how the PCR tests were not supposed to be used to diagnose illness. What you use to diagnose illness is a differential diagnosis. You do some microscopy, if you really want truth. But instead, they're using this computer DNA sequencing that was not only used at the appropriate times of 25 cycles, it was 46 cycles. So you are bound to get any strand of this DNA that they were calling CV, but it's actually found in the human body. So that makes you wonder, why was there like a, I don't know, 60% positive rate for these PCR tests, that for something that's found in humans, and it wasn't in 40%? Are there 40% less humans out there, or is there some other kind of human DNA that's not on record? Very possibly. I don't know. Are people clones? Are people robots? Is there a new species of human that we just never don't know about? I don't know. And then along with that is people who never bothered to look at the information about the lockdowns. They refuse to admit anything about CV, anything about the masking, anything about the lockdowns, as if any of it was even questionable. It's really it's amazing. And I guess it's because people just are in their little bubble of driving, and they're at work, and they don't mind. They were happy to surrender their breathing and their children's breathing and their grandchildren's breathing, and they were willing to surrender their bloodstreams to whatever the government and big pharma wanted to inject into them. And by some miracle, many are still going out and about. And praise the Lord that people are um, seem to be, at least the people I know, they seem to be upright and continuing in their lives, and they're not having any reactions, that at least none that they're telling me. And of course, they know that I was independent, and I chose to keep my breathing, and I chose to keep my biology as God gave it to me. So, I guess, and it's weird because I'm not a mad person. Like, I'm not a "I'm told you so" kind of a person. So it is very interesting that folks just have no conscience, they have no awareness, and they just think probably that everything is Trump's fault if there's any problems going on. Like, even now, and actually now it's not just Trump; it's anybody who has any objection to the lockdowns are white supremacist or something like that. So I was corresponding with somebody about the trans agenda, and they were like, "I'm sorry, I'm pretty secure in my situation. I don't, I never have had negative experiences, and so I support it." And I gave like 20 different articles and stuff like that. Like, and so what I'm noticing, and I noticed this from the very beginning, is people are willfully ignorant. They're gleefully ignorant about the CRT and the equity, diversity, inclusion, like bigotry against white people. They People are willfully ignorant about this so-called global warming or climate change, that can't humans are a cancer on the planet. It is not us that are a cancer on the planet. It's globalists who are manipulating the weather. And, with the BLM stuff and the defund the police stuff and, lockdowns for what, they're like, because somebody is afraid somebody else will get sick, or they're afraid for their own selves. But prior to 2020, people were having transplants. People were going to other countries with a fear of, yeah, they could get something. But somehow in 2020, everybody became a totalitarian and felt that they had a right to force people to stay at home, force people to die in hospitals and nursing homes, and worse things to happen to those people, because when there's nobody around to watch things, the worst in people is brought out. And I guess and it's just really surprising that this continues to be the case in 2023. However, maybe it's going to take like 15, 20 years for these smug, entitled, uh, privileged liberals who don't have to face the trauma, the ordeal that this leftist agenda is putting on those who are not protected, not in a bubble. And because this leftist Marxist Bolshevik totalitarian agenda, when you're when during lockdowns, when I was trying to go to a store or the library or a thrift shop or whatever, that and I'm a pedestrian, so I did not have the liberty to drive to another state to go where they weren't forcing you to suffocate yourself or inject yourself. So I was had to really fight every time I wanted to be somewhere to breathe, and I had to degrade myself and suffocate myself, while they're spraying all these crazy poisonous toxic sprays around me, like creating this fumigation. So it's like I'm suffocating, and then they bathe you in this all these sprays, when nobody's around me. It's like I don't know what it definitely feels like targeting. Like, how do we torture you? That the person that wants to breathe in the library or whatever. So people are willfully ignorant, and they claim to be well informed, and they claim to be compassionate and humanistic. And so I find this very frustrating and um, demoralizing and confusing, actually. It's like, so, so people are just refusing to look at the evidence, and they are just going to blow you off if you're trying to talk about something. So, uh, it's like how to cope. So I know that these people are supernaturally blinded, whether Satan is blinding them or whether God is blinding them. I don't know. And it just makes it very, very difficult, especially since it's like there's a large range of this cognitive dissonance, and like a lot of people want to be part of this mainstream narrative of CV, having long CV, people, their loved ones having died of CV, when in fact it's other factors. If we look at things statistically, like, I'm not just talking about my personal experience. Like, there's facts even in mainstream news. But it's amazing, but supposedly well informed, um, active, intelligent people are refusing to even look at what, like, admissions by, like, Mike Aden, who was the former Pfizer executive, and Wall Street Journal's admitting their, CV was a lie. I can't remember all the headlines. There's so many. There's so many headlines. There's so many scientific papers. And yet people are so happy to be indoctrinated into a totalitarian nightmare. Like that's what I don't understand is like why are people so eager to throw their own freedoms under the bus and throw my freedom under the bus, basically, because um, they think I'm a problem because I want my humanity. And they think that people like me should surrender our humanity so that other people get what they want. Because that's what happens. That's what happens when totalitarian comes into play. And I guess I have had friends who like were, I don't know, kind of quirky and unique, and they did conventional stuff, but I really didn't. I just I believed in them, and so now I'm really excuse me. I'm realizing that they're willing to betray humanity for their comfort. And and the thing is, this betrayal of humanity, like, all I'm saying is they're not even willing to see the evidence and have a private conversation. Like, they're so committed to this mainstream narrative, that a mainstream narrative they would have rejected 30 years ago vehemently with courage. But like now they are the evil patriarchal Republicans of 30 years ago. And yeah, just the same dogmatic, um like, speaking out of both sides of their mouths, kind of a traitor to humanity, traitor to civilization. And so many. What do you guys think? God bless.